Blessed Master,
blessed is the kingdom of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages.
Amen. In peace, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For the peace from above and for the salvation of our souls, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For the peace of the whole world, for the good estate of the holy churches of God, and for the union of all, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For this holy house, and for those who enter with faith, reverence, and the fear of God, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For our Father and Metropolitan Joseph, for the venerable priesthood, the diaconate in Christ, for all the clergy and the people, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For Metropolitan Paul, Archbishop John, and for their quick release from captivity and safe return, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For the President of the United States, for all civil authorities, and for the armed forces everywhere, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
This city, for every city and countryside, and for the faithful dwelling in them, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For healthful seasons, for abundance of the fruits of the earth, and for peaceful times, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For travelers by land, by sea, and by air, for the sick and the suffering, for captives and their salvation, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
For our deliverance from all affliction, wrath, danger, and necessity, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
Help us, save us, have mercy on us, and keep us, O God, by thy grace.
Lord, have mercy.
Remembering our most holy, most pure, most blessed, and glorious Lady Theotokos, and ever Virgin Mary, with all the saints, let us commend ourselves and each other for all our life in Christ our God.
To thee, O Lord.
To thee are all glory, honor, and worship to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God. Christ is in our midst.
He is and ever shall be.
So this gospel is about money. Somebody asked me, doesn't it have to do with money? I said, yeah, yes, it does. But that's just the example. The money part is the example. You know, you do wisely investing in all of that. But really, it's nice in English the way this word translates to talent, right? Because talent is another word for gift. God gives us the gift. Notice at the beginning of the gospel, God gives them, the owner gives them part of his property. Have you ever thought of that? What is the property of the owner? The property of the owner is him. It's like who he is. In our case, God gives us all manner of his own energies, we call them, all the virtues. You have love, you have joy, you have kindness, you have mercy, you have every kind of virtue. So, since he gives that to you, what am I doing with it? What am I doing with it? Right? So I can invest it. I can, ultimately what it means is, when I invest it, I live for making the master more. That's all. I live as a servant, because don't forget, these are slaves, these are servants. I live to subject these talents and to offer them to the living God. That's the best explanation ever you'll hear about that gospel. You know, you read a lot of different interpretations. The best one is that one that I've seen. So what does it mean then to bury the talents in the ground? Literally means to live for myself. That's all. To live for myself. Because you're not going to get any dividend living for yourself. And let me just give you kind of a weird analysis or interpretation of this one. Because these days, not just these days, I mean in the history of the world, there's been a lot of suffering, a lot of torment, a lot of sadness in this world. Can I tell you something? Things are going to happen to you. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Things are going to happen to you. Do you not believe that? In this life, something is going to happen to me every day, every year, certainly. And what will I do with that? Will I invest that into something to do with this is the meaning of my life, to live for Christ? No matter what's happening out here, I still invest. I keep investing. And when you invest, you see, where's your interest? Your interest isn't going to be like here in this life. It's going to be when the master comes back again, like at the end of the parable. When he comes back again and he'll say, okay, what do you have here? What have you done with what I gave you? Good and bad. A lot or a little. And when we say, I was afraid, I was living for my own self, I was careful, I was whatever. Basically, I was selfish. This is the third guy. I was selfish. And look what it results in. Here's the point, this analysis. In these days, the enemy is starting to get a good foothold. I was just talking to someone about depression. Depression, something simple like that. It's epidemic. Why? Why is it epidemic? I mean, you could talk about all the chemical theories and all the psychological theories you want. It's because we're holding on like that third person, and we're burying everything like inside of us. So that there's going to be like some explosion coming all the time. There's sad things. There's sad things happening right now in the world. Right now in your families. Right now in this church. Right now in the Orthodox Church in general. There are sad things happening all the time. And like I've told you a million times, sadness is not a sin. Sadness is something that you're participating in with Christ when he weeps for the condition of his departed friend Lazarus, who he loved so much. Right? He loved him, so he weeps because of his love. But look at the hymn. Did you hear that hymn? It's called the Kontakion. The Kontakion for the feast, which we just celebrated, which is Christ being presented at 40 days into the temple. It says, Thou hast come and saved us through love. Thou hast come and saved us through love. It's that love, with the full knowledge of salvation, with the full knowledge of all manner of healing and joy. He's sad still when bad things happen. But Christ doesn't get selfish. He doesn't become depressed. He doesn't get like, my life is, over and everything. Even at the cross. Anytime you hear an interpretation of that gospel, where Christ is either in the garden or on the cross, and he's sinning or he's depressed or something, abandon him and run away. Say, that is not our teaching. That has never been our teaching for 2,000 years. That's some sectarian teaching that Christ is like depressed or despairing or something. Lord have mercy to even think that. He's teaching. But in any event, that's another sermon. Christ never despairs because he knows who he is. So if you know who you are, you'll invest your talent. You'll invest your gift. And your talent, my dears, is to undergo whatever this life has for you. And to actually greet it and meet it. Not just accept it, but to embrace it. And say, okay, what's next, Lord? What do you have for me in this life? Is it 10 talents? Is it 5? Is it 1? Whatever it is, I'll do something with it. I'll do something with it. Now look, yesterday, and I love telling this story, so forgive me if you heard it a million times, but especially for those who weren't here yesterday. So you have this gospel of the Mother of God and Joseph bringing the little infant child 40 days to the temple to offer some sacrifice. They could only afford like 2 pigeons, right? For a sin offering, for like an offering that the priest had to go in and kill the birds and make an offering like that. But what happened outside, like in the courtyard or in the vestibule of the temple, is Simeon, the old man, takes in his arms this little child and he says, now my life is fulfilled. Now, my talents, if you will, are finally bearing fruit. Because you know the story? Do you know the backstory? You do? No. The backstory, of course, is that hundreds of years before, that same elder, Simeon, 200 years before, was one of the 70 elders commissioned to translate the Holy Scriptures from Hebrew into Greek. For all those people living outside of Israel who couldn't understand Hebrew. But Greek, everybody understood. It was the language of the commerce and everything. So 70 different elders of Jerusalem were commissioned to write this translation. Okay? It's called the Septuagint, if you don't know. The Septuagint translation. So Simeon was given the assignment to write or to translate a little portion of Isaiah. Because Isaiah is a big book, so he had like a third of it. And he comes to the prophecy where it says, "Behold, a virgin shall bring forth a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." And he says, this is, here he starts burying his talents in the ground, right? This beautiful talent of translation, and he says, no, I know better than that. And he goes to stretch it out, right? To take up the word virgin. Can you imagine? Simeon, what are you doing, crazy man? And the angel stops him. Archangel Gabriel appears to him at that moment and says, "Stop. No, what you see is correct. Don't change it. He's going to change it from virgin to maiden. Maiden, M-A-I-D-E-N, So he takes this pen, starts scratching it, and says, "Stop. No, this is true. This is the prophecy. And not only that, you will now be blessed to live long enough to see that prophecy fulfilled." So he was already an elder. What does it mean to be an elder? Maybe he was a young elder. Maybe he was 60, okay? But even then, by the time he gets to that place, when he's outside the temple, he's 250 or 200, 300 years old or whatever, and he has finally the vision of the fulfillment of that prophecy. And then we say this hymn every Vespers. Those who come to Vespers, you know, right? Lord, now will you let your servant depart in peace, according to your word. What word? The word that you gave me 200 years ago. Now let your servant depart in peace, according to your word. For mine eyes have seen thy salvation. I finally experienced it. That's the fulfillment, you see? God forbid you don't cultivate or live for the fulfillment of the Christian life, of the spiritual life. Now just think about those 200 years. You know what it's like to live in this life. Even when you start turning 50, you start breaking down. He was a couple hundred years old. Can you imagine what misery he went through for hundreds of years? Like, this is broken, this hurts, this. But he's waiting. He's not burying anything in the ground, beloved Simeon, because he knows, I have been given this great commission. I've been given this talent, if you will. And this talent, I can't bury it in the ground. I have to multiply. I have to live for it. I have to expect it. It has to be the center of my life. It has to be the driving force behind everything else. Have you found that? Have I found that? This is number one in our life. To find that seed, that talent. Put any word you want on it. That virtue, that blessing or gift of God that He gives each of us. Have you done anything with it? Have you done anything with it this week? See, because it's not like some big, I can only do it, like a big picture. It requires living in the trenches every day. So let's take somebody who gets depressed. Because a lot of us are depressed for some reason. It's like an epidemic, like I said. Someone, even for one day or 1 month or 1 year, they go out of commission because they're depressed. They get functionally. So now, what do we do with that? Somehow we have to rediscover the meaning of your life. The meaning of your life can never be to be closed off and walled off and burying everything in a hole and closing all the windows and shades and saying, that's the end. This is who I am. I'm like this person. That's life. For a lot of the people that you know, that's life. At least at times in your life. And the reason we have this problem is because we forgot this Savior of ours, who came and saved us through love. Came and saved already, past tense, us through love. So if you have the love of Christ, if you have this gift in whatever form it's taking in your life, right, and you forget about it, or maybe you don't even think, maybe you don't even know about that gift. Or maybe you do know about that gift, and you don't forget about it, and you just don't want to do anything with it. Those three possibilities. What happens? We get closed off in ourselves, and we get depressed, or we get angry, or we get frustrated, or we get, how many times, we're sitting here at confession, and some symptom of this disease is what's being confessed. It needs to be confessed, no question. And thank God, 50% or more of the healing is just being aware that this is a problem in my life. Now what do I do about it? That's the rest of the story. So you see, you persevere. This is what Simeon did for 200 years. Study, meditate on that. Pray about that. Read about his life. And say, what was he doing for hundreds of years? Sitting there depressed and waiting? Or was he doing something active? He's an elder of the nation of Israel, which was a great, gift. It was a great calling in that day. And how was he so alert? He wasn't sitting in a closed-off hovel saying, I'm old and I'm sick. He was at the door of the temple at the exact moment that Christ came, the fulfillment of the prophecy. How could that be a possibility unless he was engaged his whole life? He didn't just come there for the first time in 200 years to meet Christ. He had been waiting there. He had been diligent. He had been, searching and cultivating and praying and sweating and living a life of meaning. He was, in his life, in his person, was the fulfillment of a prophecy that he heard from an angel, right? You each have a purpose like that. Some purpose, which is just as big as that, in fact. There's no small Christian life and big Christian life. There's just the Christian life. Now what will you do with it? Yes, some of you have 10 talents. Some of us have 5. Some of us have 1 talent. But there's no such thing as better or worse than the other, or less or more than the other. If you do 100% of what you're supposed to do with that gift, I dare say you'll never fall into a depression. There won't be time. There's no time for depression. There's no time for frustration. There's no time for anything like that takes our mind and our focus off of, this could be the last day of my life. And I'm going to live it like this? God forbid. I was just reminded of an old Serbian gentleman that I used to know. And he used to say like this. He said, there's an old Serbian proverb. Live this way. Pray like it's your last day on earth. And work like you're never going to die. You see? You see the meaning behind that? It means that we don't start taking stock, how am I doing, how am I doing, how am I doing, each step along the way. We simply do our work. Do our work. Beautiful. Let God do the rest. Let him decide if it's good enough or not good enough, or I forgot this or I neglected that or whatever. God will be the good judge of that. Way better than me for myself, or for anybody else, for sure. So work that way. But pray, look how it happens. Pray as if it's the last minute of your life. Why? So that you can throw yourself on the mercy of Christ. This is what we do with our talents. What do you think prayer is? The ability to open your mouth and to speak to the living God is a talent. And you can either bury that in the ground and say, I'll do it later. I'll do it when I have time. I guarantee there'll never be time then. But I'll do it, for the sake of Christ, for the sake of love, for the sake of having some meaning in my life. So don't wait till the end of your life to do that. Live every day as if it was your last day. That's what we call remembering my death, so that I can live that intensely in this relationship, in this cultivation of the talents. And at the same time, work like a dog to support that, to occupy those 200 years that are still ahead of you, that you're going to need every minute of them to get close to God. For when he reveals to you your salvation, when he reveals to you that he's come and saved you through love, that happens. Those revelations happen every day. But if we're too busy looking at ourselves, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss that revelation. But if you're like, I don't know, how do you say it? Eager or zealous or looking outside of you for every possible infiltration of the kingdom of heaven into your life, you'll find it. You'll find it all the time, in everything. Whereas other people are weeping and gnashing their teeth and saying, what has happened? Look at this disaster. You'll be saying, what a glorious Lord we have. What? Well, just read through the scriptures. Just read through the saints. And you'll see that they never see anything in this life as negative. Even the most negative thing. Why? Because they live this life of investment. They're investing even those negative downturns, if you will, or whatever. They're reinvesting them. They keep giving them to God and saying, Lord, teach me what that means. Show me what that means. Wow, this is a great experience. I'm going to incorporate that into the next day and the next day. And they become new people. I don't know how to say it, except the old man literally disappears over time. And they become something other. They become people of another world. You are called to be people of another world, of another place. You are called to live in this world, but only incidentally, not be part of it, in terms of trying to save it, trying to rescue it, trying to save. Oh my gosh. People spend their wheels burying their talent in that hole a lot. And then they leave this life that they've tried to save, or leave this world that they've tried to save. The number one salvation job is this, each of us. If you do that, you'll have the talent, do you hear, to heal others and to inspire them to do the same. That's the only purpose of the Christian life, to glorify God and to save souls, not to save this dark place that we're here, that we're, stuck in, let's say. Okay, since we're here, let's do a good job. Since we happen to be here, let's, pull as much life, joy, beauty out of it as we pull each person, out of the hole, out of the darkness of depression and despair into this light, which we call the kingdom of heaven. That is the meaning of your talents. So, if you have no idea what your talents is, that's worth what your talents are. That's worth a discussion. That's worth a lot of investment. Let's say during Great Lent, now that the fast is coming, I need to really look at that. Is my talent making money? Is my talent, painting a wall? No, these are incidental talents, right? The real talent is how to save this soul and as many around me for the glory of God. How do I do that? You can fill in the gaps a million other ways with things that we do. But unless I find that thing, that number one sort of foundational point, all the rest of it's just going to be a waste of time. So don't waste any more time. There's no time left. Shall I leave it at that? There's no time left. Amen.